Hey, it's Norm from Tested.com. I'm here at WonderCon 2014, and we bumped into Todd Coyle. Todd, it's so nice to meet you. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing all right. And Todd, if you remember, we did a video a couple weeks ago with Adam and his Gladiator armor, the Maximus Final Fight armor. Todd actually made that for Adam. You run Todd's costumes, and you make incredible movie-accurate costumes for people to wear at conventions for cosplay, right?
Thank you, yeah.
How long have you been doing this?
Been doing it about 16 years.
And how did you get started? Like, what was the first movie you saw that you said, I wanted to make a costume from that movie, and how am I going to figure this out?
Well, I kind of got into it sideways. I was doing a puppet show in Florida where we lived, and I had to make a costume for a show that I'd written, and it just happened to be a Xena costume. It was at the time when Xena was super popular, and everybody knew who that was. So I made this really crummy costume, because I wanted it to look crummy, but people kept asking me to borrow it. So I thought, I know some good-looking ladies that would wear these to like a costume contest, and maybe we could win some prize money. So I started to make a good costume. Some friends saw it and said, you need to sell this. And I was like, oh yeah, right. I'm going to open a Xena store. But then I thought, the internet, I've heard about that. Maybe I'll make a web page, a web page. So I did, and I did it part-time for a long time, got a lot of interest in it, and eventually turned it into a full-time job.
And 15 years later, here you are. So you make Xena costumes, you make armor. What is your process of designing and making a costume? If you see a movie like Gladiator, that armor looks really cool. When you think of materials and design and references, how do you approach that?
Well, first of all, it has to be something I really, really like. I mean, it's got to be something that I would want to wear, unless, except the girls' outfits. And then you study the picture and the movie, and maybe if you could find photos of the actual screen-used items, especially it's an awesome thing if you can find pictures of the inside of the outfits. Then you know exactly how the costume designers went about designing it. And a lot of it is kind of looking at the general construction of all the costumes in a movie and kind of like getting into the head of the designer. How would they have done this? If there's a part you can't see, it's like, okay, the rest of it's like this, so how would that be? And kind of figure out what their kind of style was. And then it's a matter of refining things over the years. You try different materials, something works so good, something doesn't work so well, and you kind of just fine-tune it.
So how do you, for like a armor that's made of leather or supposed to be leather, what materials do you use to design it in a way that's relatively affordable but also comfortable to wear and not too overbearing at a convention?
Yeah, well, if it looks like leather, it probably is, because leather, although it may sound expensive, it really is a cheap material to work with. I used to try to do like imitation leather outfits, but the time I spent taking a piece of imitation leather and making it look real was just not worth it. So just use the real stuff. It ends up cheaper in the long run.
What are you working on now? What interests you now in costuming?
Well, there's a couple of projects I'd really like to do. I'd like to do some of the original Star Wars characters, and I've never been able to get around to it. I've just been busy with other stuff, but now I'm really making an effort to kind of expand, especially with the new movies coming out. I know people are going to be really interested in the old original movies. So working on a Han Solo outfit, we just finished a prototype for a shirt and a pair of the slacks. And we have the leather gear, the holster rig, and the pants belt that we just worked out. And I really like the jacket, the Bespin jacket that's kind of like a charcoal blue color. That's a favorite of mine, so that's the one that we'll be working on next. I'd like to do a couple Princess Leia outfits. I like the one from Hoth that's kind of like the white outfit. Because I think it's more fun if people can go together to like shows like this. So if you have more than one outfit that fits in the same property, then it's a lot more fun for them to be able to go with somebody and they're both dressed from the same movie.
Awesome, and people can go to your website, toddscostumes.com, for checking updates. There's going to be, Dragon Con, Comic-Con later this year. There's WonderCon next year, and Celebration might be a great time to unveil that. We can't wait to see more of your costumes out at conventions. Todd, thank you so much for chatting with us, and we'll see you next time. I'm Norm at WonderCon. See ya.